Bobby Roast Beef here from Jigs and Bigs. We got another amazing episode for you. I'm sipping here on some overpriced bean juice while I got Who the Fuck is Joe Brown out in the central Massachusetts area as we go ahead and get this show together for you. We got some stuff to talk about, folks. We had some early complications with the 300th episode celebration that's coming up in January regarding ticket sales, but tickets are available right now. We have full information on that and a funny little story to tell you that I think you're really going to appreciate. Also, what the fuck is actually Power Finesse Fishing? I got to chime in a little bit with the Dark Horse Tackle Boys and talk a little bit about it, and I want to ask Joe that same question. What the fuck does he think about Power Finesse? What even is it? And we'll talk about it, try and break that down a little bit. Hey, you know what blows? The wind. And yeah, sometimes it can be a bit much, and it was yesterday. I'll tell you the story, but in this week's Just the Tip, I did a little research. I'm gonna hopefully help you make your fall and early winter fishing trips not blow nearly as hard. All right, you guys, go ahead, get yourselves ready. We got a great show lined up for you. More Jigs and Bigs goodness coming up right after this. It would be irresponsible for us to not start this show with this little nugget of wisdom that the one and only Mr. Zechariah Jones had just bestowed upon us, really, where he said, only the white man cuts the bottom of a blanket off, sews it to the top, and tells you there is more blanket. Daylight savings in a nutshell. Say it, my friend. Folks, as we record this show right now, it is officially November. Actually, it was officially November even yesterday. And last night, we adjusted the clocks again for a little daylight savings time, huh? Nice. So you can enjoy that those nice sunny skies now at about the 6 o'clock hour instead of, waiting a little bit. But trust me, you're going to be wishing for a sweet, sweet slumber at 5 p.m. Buckle up, everybody. Old man winter
has arrived, bitch.
It's game on. It's game on.
There are
people I appreciate and love and hold dear that have started, God damn it, even before Halloween hit, started posting fucking shit about Christmas.
Slow the fuck down, Elise. Slow down.
I agree.
Oh my God. I've seen some stuff, and I mean, I get it in the retail space. Like, hey, you just got to squeeze every for a buck. It's fucking America. I get it. But Jesus Christ, man. I get it. Fuck. Anyway, I'm off my, I am not, I think overall the Jigs and Bigs, conglomerate of personalities and folks that have been a part of this show are definitely not fans of this this clock transition. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's something that most of us agree on that is irritating AF. I will tell you, this is the transition I rather. In the springtime, you can go fuck off. Because at least here the perception of gaining an hour is there. It was kind of nice to get up this morning and have everything done nice and early and make some breakfast and all that stuff. But God.
See, I feel differently. I woke up and I was like, because, I'm kind of an early riser like you, Bobby. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do an extra hour of sleep this morning. Or it's going to feel as though I have an extra hour of sleep. Yeah. It's going to be nice. No, dude. So I woke up at 6 a.m. where is actually fucking whatever. 7 a.m. was actually 6 a.m. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Everyone else is sleeping in the house. And I just went in. You know what? I went in and did something I haven't done in a long time.
Yeah.
I turned on my PlayStation.
Really? Holy shit. What'd you play?
I played. So there's a new game out, Battlefield 6, that I used to play back in the day with all the Battlefields with my friends, you know, and a couple of friends at work like, yo, dude, you need to download it and get back in the game. I was like, okay, let's do this. So I downloaded it 2 nights ago and just haven't, whatever. So I started, that's what I was doing when I was talking to you or texting you. Dude, It's not even fun. I was just absolutely getting my dick kicked in from the get-go.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't get 5 feet and I'm like dead. I'm like, all right. So I went back. I went to my old school roots, and I went and started playing Madden. Little football.
There you go. There you go, football. Dude. Oh, man.
But you know what, dude? It's like, I haven't been in video games for a long time, but there's like, it's, I'm not into like the run and gun shoot 'em games like I used to be, dude. Because I think it's just because I suck at them so bad now.
Are you one of these gamers that like picks apart like the technique and the controls, and like are you aware of the combos that you're doing, or like, as my wife likes to call herself, a button masher?
So I think my old age and my lack of playing video games in the last few years has turned me into a button masher.
Yeah.
Whereas before I was not. But you know, like I'm more into like this. I'm realizing I'm more into like the story based games than I am.
Here we go. We're making connections.
Dude, Benya, I will play with you because, like I said, I was playing Conquest multiplayer and just getting my dick kicked in by 7-year-olds were calling me like, you know, I got like 7-year-olds being like, "Oh, I killed you, you pussy." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I will kill your parents." I can't touch you.
It's fucking amazing. This might end up being part of the fucking 300th episode right there. A Battlefield 6 off.
We're just gonna get big screen and play Battlefield like during the.
We have one there. Like, it's installed. It's beautiful. We'll call it the old
Battlefield 6 beat off.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I'm getting my dick kicked in on the battlefield, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna play Farming Simulator, and I just like mow grass for 3 hours.
Oh my God!
When my grass is a foot high outside.
See, this is the shit I live with in this house because I'm the only. Well, no, I guess Chloe's not much of a gamer either. Like, she dabbles a little bit, but like. Holly and Ace are fucking hardcore. And you know what their game is? Genshin.
I'm not familiar with that.
It's like an anime game.
Okay.
And it is like one of the deepest, like, because that's the thing. Like, I will sit, like, we have a fucking 70-inch fucking television in our house.
Same, yeah.
Because of the games. Like, Holly just likes it. She's like, this is not the fucking setup I had as a kid. This is the shit that I want now. I was like, okay, fine. So I will sit there with both dogs in the recliner with me on my phone, just fucking doom scrolling as she's playing. And I'll just add commentary about like some of the characters and shit. And I'm like, she's got to chill the fuck out. What is going on there? And like, and she likes the RPG. She likes Elder Scrolls a lot, shit like that.
I used to love that game.
I couldn't get her into Battlefield 6. The only game I have is GTA 5, and I can barely play it.
They're coming out with a new one.
I know they are.
So you know what the coolest game? One of the coolest games I probably ever played on that fucking thing was that Red Dead Redemption game. The Red Dead Redemption 2. That was such a cool, realistic game. But one thing I do on occasion, I don't really count this as playing the PlayStation, although it is I have the VR, the PlayStation like VR 2 as well.
Yep.
And Meg and I will play like certain game, like the puzzle like games, and we'll swap off and like,
oh, that's cool.
It will do that. She likes doing that.
It's fucking wild, man. Yeah, it's crazy too, because like anglers have these alternate hobbies. You know what I mean? Like where they're like, oh, you know, this is what I like to do. For some, it's easy. You know, they're just like, yeah, fall and winter comes around. That's when I'm getting into hunting. You know what I mean? Like that's where, and it works well. But like, it is funny because video games are a big part of it. I just watched. It was a video I just watched last night. It was when I got home from fishing, actually, and it was about. Have you ever seen? I forget the guy's name. Miles is his first name. He does a bunch of stuff with. They have this podcast called the You Betcha podcast. Oh no, Belly Up to the Bar is what it's called. These two guys from the Midwest. Okay, he did a thing, and it was like a chart plotting. different hobbies that men have. And he went down through, and it was basically like, what's the barrier of entry to get into it? Like, what's the minimum that you need to put up for something to get into this hobby to be like, yeah, I did this thing. You know what I mean? And fishing was the first one that he started with. And then he goes the level of difficulty with it. Like, really, like, how difficult is it to be able to go and get into? And one of the things that was on there, like video games was up there, but he's like, he goes, there's a little bit more of a barrier of entry with video games because, like, the games itself are going to cost you whatever. He goes, you need something to play them on, either a console if you're old school or, if you're really spending big money and you're doing PCs and shit like that, those can cost you a ton. But he's like, some of these games are so fucking difficult. It's crazy. So it scored like way out in this other sort of area. Yeah. But the other hobbies that were out there was like, one of them was like bushcraft.
Okay.
And I'm like, I could see that being a hobby. But then he went one more further. He was like, there's going out and actually doing bushcraft type stuff. Like, hey, I have a knife and I'm in the woods. I'm going to stay here for 2 days. And like, that's it. Or he goes, then there's people who just watch the bush. So I guess like watching content could be its own hobby. Yeah. Where, and it's nuts. One of the hobbies he said in there was history. He's like, every man is going to hit a point in his life, an age where all of a sudden he's like,
oh, I do want to know about post-Civil War such and such.
You know what I mean? Like everybody, like they're just, it's the nerdiest shit. And he goes, that's got a zero barrier entry. You know what I mean? Like you can go to the library and be in that. And he's like, it's so easy. So it's crazy because you see some of this shit start to pop out. When the fishing slows down for some folks.
Yep.
I don't know that I really have much of a hobby other than like food and cannabis. Like I don't play music anymore. You know what I mean? That was one of them that was on there. I don't have any desire to play music. So I'm like, I kind of think that's it. Like, and this year, I don't know why. So I told you I got some new boots, right? Some hiking boots.
Yep.
And I'm going to try and spend more time in the woods.
Yeah. You got the hold on. Don't tell me. Keens.
Yes. Yep. I love them. My daughter says they make me look like a lesbian, but I'm owning it. It's okay.
Just don't go buy a Subaru, dude.
I'll never. That day will never happen. Although this story I'm going to tell you ties into a buddy of mine who does in fact drive a Subaru and is vegan.
Okay.
Check minus. So he has been like one of the things that like in the winter that I have been toying with a lot is focusing on just spending more time in nature doing shit. So like I love truck camping. Like it's awesome. I absolutely love it. The problem is with doing that in the winter, like around here, is very tricky because like the amount of space that you have for dispersed camping in New England in general is a fraction of what you have in other parts of the country.
Of course.
So it makes it really like a challenge. A lot of the stuff that you might want to camp at is private property. And I'm not looking to get fucking arrested or anything like that. I'm not looking to have any legal problems. So I have this idea that what I want to try to do is look around for some other states that are maybe a little bit more lax where I can actually get and stay on like a state campsite or some shit like that. I'm talking super primitive. Like I'm bringing everything, carry in, carry out, the whole deal. If I can find something like that, I think I've been sharing a lot of this content. I think I'm just going to go and post up in the woods, go for like a little day hike, and then like make like a big soup and like hang out with friends around a fire, just like make a big charcuterie board, like a nice loaf of bread, some meats and cheeses, and just like everybody eat. And then we'll get up that next day, maybe have some breakfast, go for another hike, and then fucking get the hell out, Just go and probably be smoked up most of the time as well. I mean, I think that's kind of what I'm leaning toward, but I don't know. So yeah, I'm trying to do more this winter and be more active instead of so freaking dormant. Man, how was the rest of your week? Let's actually, Joe, let's start with your week in review right from when you went fishing yesterday. Walk us through it. How was it? This has been a couple of months coming.
Well, I went fishing last week.
Yep.
I went fishing last week. Yeah, dude. So as soon as we got done with the show, I popped the boat on the back of the truck. I went down to a local spot, launched it. It felt amazing.
Yep.
Got out there and it was like the water temperature was pretty cold, a little colder than I anticipated. I'm like, okay.
What were you getting for temps?
I was getting like 52, 53.
Oh, wow. All right. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's starting to slip.
So I go in there and First spot I went to, I was like, okay, this is like a no-brainer spot. Nothing. I was like, okay, this is straight. I was throwing, I started off with, I think, a jerk bait. I started off with a jerk bait, and like I didn't even see anything following it, like on the scope. Like there was like nothing there.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, that's a little weird. And so went to another spot that's usually a slam dunk there. And again, I wasn't spotting anything. I was like, this is weird. And like this time of year. So last spot I went to, it's kind of like a flat with a bunch of like old stumps, and I know they tend to hang out around there. So I was tossing, what did I didn't toss a jerk bait I tossed a big Joshy on a, just on a ball head jig. Finally I started to get some follows. I slowed it down a little bit and then kind of like watched on the screen, and then kind of once I saw the follow, I started to pull it away from a little quicker. And that's when I finally got a couple bites. Smaller fish, just both small. I caught 3 fish. I caught 2 smallies and a crappie. Because I was only out there for like an hour and a half.
That's awesome though. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you know what's fucked up?
What?
Both of those species would have helped me on the scavenger hunt. Both of them. That would have been 2 more points right there.
Yeah, one of the smallies was pretty good too. I mean, for you, he was probably 15 inches, maybe.
Oh yeah,
it's great. So yeah, so I got that a big crappie. I mean, you know what place I'm talking about. There's such a big crappie in there.
There.
Yeah, but everything like the jerk bait, it was after they were hitting that big Joshy, I ended up tying on. I was running a regular, a standard size Vision 110, and then right before I started to throw the big Joshy, I tied on a junior. I was like, all right, let me downsize. I'll throw a Vision 110 junior on there. But I never end up throwing that. I just kind of threw the big Joshy out, and that's kind of what I was catching on. So today the first thing I'll do is I'll start to throw that downsize Vision 110, and I'll just depending on the water temp, I'll probably just really slow it down.
Yep.
Get some noise going, kind of try to get their blood pumping and get them interested in it. Yeah, dude, it was good. The thumb held up good.
That's great.
The only thing that like made it kind of sore was like loading and unloading the boat. Fishing itself was fine.
The breeze. I had a feeling that was going to be the case. Like the other shit would have been weird.
That's what it was. It was like cranking up the boat. I was like, I had to kind of like favor it a little bit. And
that's what you got Jeremiah for, though.
Dude, he's kind of like now he's all about like hanging out with his friends and doing weird friend shit right now. Yeah. So I flew solo, but no, the boat worked well. I was awesome. Kind of nervous because she'd been sitting for a minute. Oh yeah. So no issues with the boat.
That's great.
Yeah, it was good, man. Like, so honestly, I don't know how many, if when I go out today, I don't look at those overnight temps and shit. The boat might go away next weekend.
Yeah. It's getting there, man. It was
getting 25 chilly when I woke up this morning here.
Yeah, I woke up and it was fucking frigid. I was like, this is really cold.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. Man. I was like, hopefully there's no water in the boat.
And we've had a couple of weird fucking like the last front that came through was tropical.
Oh, yeah.
It was like we had overnight temps of like 55, 54 degrees.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, Jesus. And like 2 inches of fucking rain. Holy shit.
Yep.
What about the rest of the week? You do anything nuts? Anything crazy?
Oh, man, no. It's just work bullshit, dude. I'm so ready to be done. It's just like, dude, I have like the biggest, like knowing that my like retirement is coming up. I have the biggest fucking case of senioritis, dude. Where it's just like, yeah, I just do not want anything to do with it right now. Just everything just annoys the shit out of me now. You know what I mean? Like zero patience. Everything just annoys me.
Definitely understand that.
you know, and just like kind of talking, you know, we've kind of started like planning out our first like trips with the RV and stuff. So we're like, so I get excited for that. And I'm like, fuck, I still got like 8 months of work and 7 months of work and whatever it is. And like, which is wicked fucked up to think when you think like everyone's like, cool, I got 20 years left.
But at the same time, you've put so much time in. Like this is, you've more than earned your opportunity to be excited about retirement. And you should be excited.
I'm going to do something. It's just going to be doing something for myself, like working for myself, most likely, and just doing what I want to do.
I'm telling you,
what I have to do.
I can see it now. Come and play speed quizzing smartphone trivia with Who the Fuck is Joe Brown at Timberland Brewing. I can just fucking see it now, man.
I don't lose every time unless it's history. It's history.
No, you be the host. They give you the answers. Shit. Yeah. All you got to do is read shit off a screen, man. You know what I mean? And think about it, because then it's you. I mean, yeah, or shit, when you're traveling, fucking take the show. That's my plan. When we go, I'm trying to build that Bobby roast beef brand enough so I can be in like, oh, hey, we're in North Carolina, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to pick up a residency for 8 weeks here. Boom. You know? And that'll give us like money to fucking play with. And then we can live off fucking Holly's retirement, because I
ain't bringing shit to the
table. You know, man, that's fucking wild. That's awesome, dude. Or be the celebrity guest appearance. That is one thing I got to work on this week, is special guests. I got to nail some things down for the 300th show. So yeah, you're going out today.
I'm going out. I'm going to go out today. I'm going to hook up the boat as soon as we're done here, and same place. I'm just going to go, you know, right down the street, essentially. Just go out for a couple hours. I got some shit I do want to do around the house as well. So. Yeah.
I do, you know, I do have, I guess maybe this is we could save it for a broke on the boat, but I think we'll do it informally. So I have a trailer woe that is going on, and I want your feedback. Now, you know me, if something breaks, I don't want to replace it. I want to upgrade it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to spend the money
for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't want to have the same problem over again. So the jack at the front of my trailer, right? Vinny and I, when we were up at St. Lawrence, we threw some grease in there because it was really just rough, you know? And it was working great. It was awesome. And I think it was like within the next week, like it just started to get really, really tight again. And to the point where like some of the gears, the teeth were breaking off. Like it was that bad. I was like, oh shit. Okay.
You're talking about what brings your boat up to the
hitch.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the wheel jack.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about not the when I'm talking about it moving, I'm talking about the handle. You know? Yeah. Like that, the gears inside that, because I think it was like the cap like blew off it. I don't even know how many months. It was ridiculous. But so I've you know, we greased it and it was fine. And once I saw those teeth go, I was like, all right, I'm not fucking with this. And I'm not necessarily sure what I'm going to do. So what I did in the meantime was I left it kind of like quasi extended where it was, because it'll still fit. I can fold it up and put it aside. So it'll still fit right there. So it will still hold the boat up with no problem. I'm just not using the crank to adjust it up and down. What I did was I got a bottle jack. I just picked up a bottle jack.
That's a pain in the dick, though, dude.
It is. But it's one of those things where, like, I wanted to have a bottle jack around for all kinds of shit, and it's light and easy to carry around. So that's what I've been using just like the last week. And I've been looking around at some other stuff. I kind of want to get a power jack. I'm kind of thinking about, like, just making life a little bit easier with that, you know?
My opinion was I would just go with like, because like they come with such shitty fucking jacks, dude. I would just spend a couple $100 and get a fucking Fulton, like a nice jet, like a nice like smooth running jack that you won't have any issues with.
Okay, all right, that very well may be the move. You know, set that sucker up and just let it go. Hey, I just got a notification here right now that one Mr. Eli Self just got himself a ticket for the 300th episode live stream as we're doing this. I just got the notification, Eli. Here we go. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. This is great. And we're going to talk about the tickets and all that stuff. And Ryan chimes in. He goes, I love my Fulton. 2 years old, can crank so easy. Oh, that's beautiful, dude. And I think that's probably right. In fact, I think Todd might have noticed how like janky this was initially. You're right. Like the ones that they install when they assemble when they assemble the trailers, they're just, they do the job, you know?
Yeah. And sometimes
you might be right that might be the move, is just go ahead and replace that sucker. But the way it connects, I'm like, does this have to, like, I don't know. Is this easier done if I just put my boat in the water and then replace it?
Hook it up to your truck and do it. So you're taking that weight off, and then it should just be like 4 bolts to take off the one jack, and then 4 bolts to put on the new one. It will probably literally take you 15 minutes to do it.
Perfect. I think that's what I'm going to do, because I was looking at some options, some other stuff while I was out there. Like, and in the past, like I've rented trailers from like U-Haul. When I did that trip to like Moosehead and stuff like that, I put my kayak and everything in there, and they have these nice setups where like you can take a cordless drill, just. Like, that's kind of sweet. I considered the idea of that, but yeah, I'll look into a Fulton and see what the scoop is, and just swap it out. But let's go ahead. We'll talk about my week. And you and I talked a little bit on Thursday night about my week. I had quite the surprise that just fucking was magic. So last Sunday, that was the last day of the scavenger hunt tournament. Did not get out and fish. Ran a bunch of errands with my wife. We had a good time. It was a lot of fun. Worked my regular work schedule, and it was the week of Halloween, so I was doing all kinds of like bonus stuff. My regular Tuesday and Wednesday bonus nights, and then I was giving points for folks that came out in costumes, like 10 points per person on their team. And I have this one guy who plays regularly, and his regular team name is Mr. Cheese. And he comes in every single week with one of those like Green Bay, like the cheesehead hats. Yeah. Right. And he wears it at trivia, and he's the nicest dude. Like, and he's fucking smart. Like, he's good. So he's like, yeah, you know, does his thing and everything. He comes in and he's wearing a t-shirt that's like a cartoon, like print of like what you would imagine like in cartoon a piece of cheese would look like, with the holes and shit. Yeah. And then he's got a hoodie that matches it exactly right. And I was like, you kind of wear, because my rule is you have to be like something like you have to be a character that's not you. You know, like if you're a nurse and you show up in scrubs and you're like, I'm a nurse, give me my 10 points. I'm going to be like,
fuck off.
Shit like that, you know. I even said no points to the guy in a wheelchair who was like, I'm dressed up as disabled, and I'm like, every day I see you in that chair, I'm going to hell. So he comes in. I saw this costume. It was the best fucking thing ever, dude. Out from under his arm, under the hoodie, he pulls out a Jason mask, and I look at him and I was like,
Jason Voorhees?
And he says exactly right. And I'm like, 10 fucking points. 10 points. I had we had some fun with it. It was a good time. Had a packed house on my Monday venue at the Boulevard. It was great. And then I got home, edited the show, got that all published, and everything was ready to rock. And this week I was really excited because Friday was Halloween, but even more importantly, Friday was the day that the box office opens for the tickets for Jigs and Bigs' 300th episode celebration. It's all coming up on the 24th of January, and it's brought to you by Dark Horse Tackle. And I'm getting to the point now where we've got a good number of like prize sponsors, and I want to start promoting some of them, but I've been waiting until the tickets go live. So this way I can keep it in the ether, you know, keep mentioning it and all that stuff. And I'm really stoked because like I was talking with Josh Shrenko about getting Achigan on. Achigan's now a prize sponsor. So that's awesome. That's freaking wicked cool. Our Armory Jerky. So we've got some local, non-endemic type stuff. In fact, I'm going to be reaching out to some craft breweries too. And just to see like, hey, can you guys throw us a growler or a 4-pack or something? We can give some stuff away to some folks. Obviously, that might be weird for shipping. Maybe that'll be more of a door prize thing. But like, you know, something like that. Or like gift cards for your facility, for your brewery or something. That could be cool. So I've got all these things kind of going on and everything. And I released a video on Tuesday. And then I dropped another video on, I think it was on Friday. I dropped it Friday morning on YouTube. I got to tell you guys, and I did a little bit of reflection. In this like 90-day YouTube challenge, I'm getting my ass kicked. I am 100% like it is not going well, and I'm owning it. It's just one of those things where I'm struggling. You know what I mean? Like I'm putting out the videos, but like I run into situations like I ran into on Saturday where there's just no fruitful video. Same thing happened on my send on my birthday. We had very little for content that was like that I was able to put together. In fact, I'm amazed that Becca turned that into a video for her channel. I'm amazed because like, you know, the fishing wasn't fantastic necessarily, you know, and like that's one of the reasons why this winter I want to camp and start doing more, because I want to get better at capturing that stuff. Like I've kind of got a good, for my channel, I've kind of got a good feeling for the workflow for creating content on the boat, but it's all the other stuff I just forget to record, or like I just don't even think about it. So I want to do better with that. And you know, I'm working on a bunch of stuff, and then Thursday night rolls around. Actually, let's go a little bit before Thursday night. I think it was like Wednesday. I was talking with Zach actually, and we were talking about perfect pairings on Dark Horse Tackle, and there is a amazing perfect pairing. It's actually, I think the latest one, or at least at the time it was the newest one, and he had sent it over to me and was like, "Yo, you got to check this sucker out," and it is. It's an HH Customs jig. It's the Koosh Ball Micro PWR XT jig, right? It's really, really nice finesse jig, super compact profile, right? 3/8 ounce ball head style head, and you know, nice finesse haircut on it and everything. Stout hook, right? But like very, very compact, very compact. And the perfect pairing is that they matched it with a Dirk's Craw from Bait Cave, and the Dirk's Craw is a 2.5 inch long craw. It's got like a cylindrical type body with the arms that come off that are that come off of either side for the claws. There's not a ton of flap, but it sits so well on this jig. So I'm like, you know what, man, I'm going to pick up a couple of those. There's a few other pieces of terminal I want to get on hand while they're available, and put that together. And as I was looking around on the bait shop, right, I was looking around at the bait shop, and I'm like, man, there are some really good looking micro Koosh Ball jigs from HH Customs that I've been wanting to get my hands on, like true like finesse stuff. And I'm talking 1/8 ounce, 3/16 ounce shit that I've wanted to be able to throw on that Arc Gravity bass finesse rod that I picked up over the summer. And I was like, they haven't been in stock in months. I got to take a dive into the circle, the virtuous circle, and I got to go, and I spent a little too much money over at HH Customs. It kind of went on a tear. I knew that I needed to order more of my particular brand of bullshit color of the micro, what am I saying? The micro Koosh Ball bladed jig, right? I had to replace those. And I went a little bit nuts, but I also went a little bit nuts with a couple of different sizes and color waves of the I think it's the version 2 micro Koosh Ball jig. And it's the one that's got the actual, like the weed guard on there, not the thin wire weed guard. And dude, I can, that's part of there's a part of me that's like, yes, go do a bank send today. And just bring that rod and throw around a couple of jigs. Just see what we have, you know? Todd says, he chimes in here, goes, are you sending a link for the live, or do we need to sign in somewhere? So Todd, here's what we're going to do. So the tickets are your entry. Like that's how you get involved with the giveaways. All you have to do is go to the YouTube channel for Jigs and Bigs. The live will be there that day. In fact, it's probably going to be running with like a bird's eye view cam of the party as things get going. So you can just go ahead and check in. Binya is actually going to be acting as the operator for the live as far as handling comments and things like that. So you guys will be able to comment, and it'll be actually hopefully even smoother of an experience there than it is being a jig head here as far as getting comments on screen and engaging and everything else. This is going to be like really, really great. So don't worry about that. I needed to collect phone numbers and emails so that I can contact if, like, for some reason everything goes to shit. I want to have like a copy and paste email of like, hey guys, sorry, the live stream went for shit. We'll still be in touch with you if you won, whatever. So you're good to go. Just in case, it's just so that way, like, I can make sure to like cover my ass. Of course, this is also going to be something that will probably end up falling on Binya's head. Like, I'm going to walk through hey, if this happens and the live stream goes to shit, fucking hit send on this email I've pre-printed, you know, or that I've edited and put it together. Send it, it'll go to everybody, and then they'll fucking know, like, hey, the live stream is having difficulties, blah, 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 blah. Feel free to check in. But yeah, it'll be here for you. If for some reason we need to like gatekeep it somehow, and I don't think so, again, you guys will get a link. Already broke off the bacon. Yeah, I broke off one of those jigs yesterday. So let's talk about Thursday. So, folks, I'm going to tell you a tale. Bobby Roast Beef still fucking has it, which is good. I'm glad to know that I still have it. I was at trivia on Thursday night, and it was 6:15. Right? Teams are signing in. Everything's good. I had just moved my car to the back parking lot and walked back in. And I get back over by my computer, and I notice that I have an email. So I open it up, and it's an email from the ticket agency, Brown Paper Tickets. Now, Brown Paper Tickets is the organization that I booked my event online with and got the physical tickets and everything and all that stuff. And there's partly the reason why I like Brown Paper Tickets is they're very much... like, they're like the punk rock ticket, like, organization. They're very much downsized. They're artists for artists. Like, they get it. You know what I mean? They're not just like some giant corporate like website that's like churning out whatever AI crap like that. This is good. There's people, like, you can call them and ask them questions, and it works. So I get this email from them, and essentially this at 6:15 in the evening, it says, oh, congratulations on your upcoming event. Just wanted to let you know that brownpapertickets.com has been acquired by events.com. All 2025 events will go on uninterrupted. However, all 2026 events will need to be migrated over to events.com. So your event in 2026 will not appear, and you'll have to enter that information at events.com. Now, keep in mind, this is Thursday, October the 30th at
6:15 p.m.
The box office opens in 5 hours, 45 minutes. I have a bar full of people to entertain, right, for the next 2 hours. I have to get home, right? And then I could feverishly, like, try to fix this and then go back through and update all of the links everywhere that I've put this. So I go and I'm trying not to melt down in front of a fucking bar full of people because I am furious at this point. Like, did this acquisition just happen? Like at 5 o'clock? It just fucking happened and we're finding out now. So I reach out via email and Joe put it best. He goes, you killed him with kindness. And that's what I do. And I was like, hey guys, actually, I should just fucking read it out to you guys. I say to him, I was like, hey guys, congratulations on the merger. Would love to be able to drop everything right now and fix this. However, being that I'm currently at an event and will be until about 9 p.m., is it possible that you could just take advantage of this five plus hours that I've got available to fix this and migrate this to events.com for me as you're the same company now? Thanks. Would appreciate it. I got an email back in 2 minutes and they said, hey, we're going to make an exception for your event and keep it on as it's listed currently. But for future events, you'll need to do them through events.com. I said, that's fantastic. So that was a win for Bobby Roast Beef. I was like, you've got to be shitting me. Here we are, like the day of. I've got everything that I needed to do, I've done. You know what I mean? Everything was all set and ready to go. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, there are people that are just chomping at the bit at midnight going into Halloween that they're like, yes, I'm buying these tickets. I'm buying these 300th episode tickets. And if there was even one person that was watching the clock for when it went live, I didn't want to disappoint them. That's where my head was. You know what I'm saying, Joe? Does that make sense?
Oh, it's perfect. It makes perfect sense to me, at least.
So I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. So I'm like, so this is all set. I was like, again, I'm like, they're going to fuck something up. Something's going to happen. It's going to be a fucking mess. They did not. Congratulations, Brown Paper Tickets. It's fucking, everything's working. It's operational. And I'm seeing, as people are buying tickets, I'm getting the list of names together so that this way the giveaways will be nice and smooth. Like, I'm really trying to go at this show to be as much more organized than previous ones have been. So this way it'll be that much better. In fact, we should probably come up with some kind of an outline for the show. So what happened at the 100th episode when Sean and I were just like, awesome, guys, what the fuck did we talk about? Like, we literally got up in front of everybody and we're like, what the we never talked about what we're going to do with this show. Like, that was the last thing on our mind. We're like, everything else we tried to make sure was like functioning. So I think we'll make our life a little bit easier. I am hoping to have, there's one very special guest that I want to have who is an absolute New England name, 100%. I don't want to drop it yet, but I'm hoping that we can work it out and have him there. I think it'll be absolutely fucking awesome. I think even people that don't fish will be like, what? I know that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I think it could be fucking cool, man. And we'll just play it by ear. So that brings us through Friday. Friday is great. Everybody's having a good time on Friday. Halloween is awesome. I'm getting amped because the only time I've actually had opportunities to fish this week, and I've blown it off, putting all of my efforts into Friday. And I knew, the weather that we got on Friday, like there was that whole like hurricane system that came up that was like all super tropical, and the air temps went up, and it was kind of nuts. We got a shitload of rain starting Thursday night, and it just rained all the way through the majority of the night, and then into Friday morning a little bit. And I'm getting stoked about this. I go and I head over to what is it? I head over to my trivia night, and I've been messaging Adam all day. He's stoked. Like we had set this up, I think on Monday or Tuesday. I was like, yeah, Saturday. I was like, this is what I got going on. You should come with. He's like, okay, awesome. And he's stoked. So we meet up the Shears. Nice and early. This is on Saturday, right? And I knew like we were going to get some wind, but I had looked as, and again, like I look at the forecast for as much information as I can. And then I get there and I'm like, what are we actually dealing with? So like, I want to know, like when I'm going up there, like what are the winds like? From what direction are they coming from? How intense? And it was supposed to be that much more like insane. Like it should be that much more like, I was expecting the gusts to be well over 40 miles an hour. They were about 34, 36, but I was like, we're going to send it regardless. The direction of the weather looked awesome. It looked like it was coming out from the west. I'm like, this is awesome. The west is the best. And we'll talk about that more later in just the tip. And I'm like, this is awesome. I feel like it's a lot, but we'll go ahead and we'll send it. I think we've got some really pikey conditions. This could be great. So I meet Adam. We get out there, we launch the boat, and normally what I do is I usually have whomever I'm fishing with, I splash them, I'll go park the truck and then go back over. Adam was fully prepared. Like he had his waterproof boots, like everything. So, and I was like, with the wind, dude, I go, I'm actually going to have you splash me, and then I'll pull up to the bank. I'll do a little bit of a lap, because as soon as I get on the bank, it's just going to broadside the boat up against the bank. Like it's going to be ridiculous. So I'm just going to keep it out there, and then I'll come in and pick you up. He's like, okay, cool. Because this lake that I went to, they got rid of the docks already. They did it last week. I couldn't believe it. So I go and I meet up with him. He splashes me and we hit the water. And as I pull up, he's getting in the boat. And I'm like, bro, I think we maybe have an hour out here. Like I had already taken a wave like right up against me. Like I soaked the windshield. I was like white caps all over the place. And it was blowing worse early And as the day went on, it was progressively getting better, slightly better, but still better. So I'm like, we'll go ahead. We'll see what happens. We don't even like get on plane. Like we're just motoring over there. We get over to this one spot, and in the cove where I wanted to kind of start and focus, we were actually sheltered by some of the bigger gusts, so it wasn't too bad. So we fished this place, and we fished the shit out of it, dude. We didn't get a goddamn bite. We were being as versatile as we could, and I was paying attention to the stuff that he was throwing and sort of playing off of that, so that way, we could just kind of get a bite. He had said that he had a follow on, or he had what he thought was probably a tap on a white spinnerbait with silver blades, and I was like, okay, cool, noted. Keep that in my mind. Go ahead, we'll see what we're doing. I started out throwing a bladed jig. I want to start out with as obnoxious as possible with the wind. No go there. So I shifted gears and I went to a downside. I went to a battle a minigun from Battle Baits. Nothing over there. So then I'm like, let's go even more subtle. I threw a jerkbait for a little while, right? Nothing there. Okay, cool. And this is like, we're like mowing the lawn. You know what I mean? You go over a weed bed and you're just motoring up and down, you're covering water, and you're just looking to pull fish out of that. Dude, I tried it all. Could not get a bite over there. So I said, let's cut our losses. Let's go try this other bed of weeds that's more in the open area. Like, we're going to get beaten up out there, but like, let's go and we'll try and send it. And I was even out that way. I tried the same, lineup of stuff. Nothing. I even threw a drop shot out in front of that wall of weeds and dragged it around where there was some depth. And I even was marking fish off the ledge. Nothing. Just lockjaw. They wanted nothing to do with it. It's like, okay, cool. I was like, let's go fish the wind-blown bank. This is what I'm like most nervous about, because my 55 horse trolling motor was really struggling with the gusts in spot lock. It was really struggling with it. So I was trying to set myself up in a position like I'd power over to it on high, and I would allow myself to drift, kind of using some of the shit that I learned a little bit from St. Lawrence and applying it to the windy situation I was dealing with at the lake. And that would work in some instances, but when we were fishing the wind-blown bank, there's up in this one area, there's a shitload of rocks, and I really needed to be as cautious as I could be. And it eventually got to, we had a close call one time where like wind was pushing us around, and the back of the boat started to swing over these shallow rocks, and I'm like, I'm not fucking up my motor, man. I shouted over to Adam. I was like, hey, trim that up. So he reaches over and he fucking trims it up, like, so it's like stick it up flat. And I was like, all right, we're good. And I just put us on high, got us out to deep water. I was like, dude, we are done. It was like 12:30 at that point. It was ridiculous. We were freaking out over one follow that he had on, I don't know if it was a swim bait or what it was he was throwing. And he's like, I don't know what these were. He's like, but I had a follow. And I'm like, well, if there's fish here, let's fucking post up and see what can happen. Unfortunately, it was just not a good idea. But yeah, shit's going to be going down. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so I then decided I would call it for the day. And that's when I realized on the drive home that I fucked up. I really, especially like for content, like I have nothing on those cards. It's like interesting to watch. There's not even a story to tell. It's just two idiots bouncing around on a fucking small aluminum boat like a cork. And I'm like, this isn't fun. This isn't interesting. So I'm like, I have to do a little bit more with it. I was hoping to be able to squeeze out something today. I was like, I don't think it's going to work out. But I'm going to go and send it this week a couple of times and try and put some shit together. So that lends itself into the struggle with the YouTube channel and the challenge and everything. It's been a mess. So needless to say, we went without a single bite. I called it, came home, took a short nap because I got up I went to bed late, got up super early, and took a little cat nap while everybody was out running errands. Got up and hung out with the fam. Ordered some barbecue. It was a nice night in. It was a really, really nice night in overall. Let's talk about the 300th episode, because we already have actually about a dozen people that have already purchased tickets. Which
hell yeah.
Fucking amazes me, you guys. It 100% amazes me the fact that you guys are that into this. So to everybody out there that's been purchasing their tickets over at jigsandbigs.com, thank you. I appreciate it. It is awesome. The bigger this event is, and that goes for both folks in person, like that's going to have the most direct, like that's the energy we're going to be able to feed off of the most to make it as really engaging. Like we need people there, but we also need people on the stream. And I will say this, I think all but two people who have bought tickets for the event in January, they're all on the live stream, or unless they're traveling, unless they're like traveling like a great distance, because some of these folks are all over the country. So for that, I'm amazed. It's going to be awesome. We got some talk going in the chat right now about Columbus Fishing Expo. Todd says he's got the Verbo booked, which is awesome, and then of course Joe dropped the bombshell. So this is kind of cool though, Joe, because Jigs and Bigs kind of gets to do both.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I was thinking about that this week. So obviously, I don't know why the Columbus Expo is so much earlier than it was in years previous, but it is. The Columbus Fishing Expo and the New England Fishing Expo are on the same date. Yep. The same weekend overall. So it's going to make things a little bit interesting. Now, Binya's been working with Dark Horse Tackle. Binya is actually going to be at the Columbus Expo, and he'll be coming up with me. And now that Binya is tournament director for the show, he's part of the Jigs and Bigs fam. So there's still going to be Jigs and Bigs representation in Columbus. I'll be out there that weekend.
Yep.
But Joe is going to be out here in New England with Fish or Die. And Taylor and the fellas.
Yeah.
Sexist,
you know who's Meg is even more mad than
I'm
me
sure she is.
about the shows being the same weekend, because she's like yeah, the first year I worked the whole time. She's like, but I enjoy going there with everybody. She's like, yeah, I'm not an expo person. She's like, but I look forward to when the expo's done. We're all kicking it at the house. She's like, that was like one of the funnest days weekends last year.
I don't
know. Maybe she'll go without me. I don't know.
Maybe, who knows? You know what though? It could be great because she could go and she could be like, I'll buy something for Joe while I'm here. Let me go hit the JDM booth. You never know. She has both Zach and myself to influence her. You're getting some new shit. I'm just saying.
That's true. That's true. Or she'll be like, no, he's buying stuff at the New England show. I'm going to buy something for myself.
I am glad, though, that you're going to be in New England, because, like, we've got homies that are in New England.
Yeah.
Matt from Boston Anglers. He's got a booth this year.
Yep.
You know, and it sounds like he's doing a lot over there with his booth, which is freaking awesome.
Who is that again? You went out for a second.
Oh, Matt from Boston Anglers.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff. In fact, you know, man, I was eyeing that 4.5 inch craw, and I was like, this, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's expo season. Expo season does help soften the blow of slow fishing. It really, really does. Sure. It was like last year was the perfect storm, because the New England show and then the Columbus show followed it. It was a nice little extension to kind of do both. And I know, like, that's not realistic for a lot of people. Hold on a second. Metal Jones says, hell no, I'll just take that card and take the Dark Horse Tackle shopping spree. There you go, dude. Oh, man.
She'll probably buy you guys shit instead just to get at me.
I have... And I think I talked a little bit about this last week, but last year at the Columbus show, as we were like packing up, the entire show, it had been kind of like killing me. One of our neighbors across the way had a booth, and the booth was primarily skirt making supplies.
Yeah.
And I was remember, like, this is so cool. Like, this is the kind of shit I would love to just like fuck around with and create like my own special sauce of like color patterns and things and fool around some stuff. And it could be awesome, you know? And I went and I bought a bunch of stuff, and I haven't touched it. So that's one thing this winter that I'm really kind of hoping to do is, you know, I was looking at my terminal box and some other stuff. Like, I've got a bunch of these bare naked Picasso, the bladed jigs.
Mm-hmm.
You know the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah. Shock blades?
Shock blades, yes. The bare naked ones. And I like that because I'm like, now I can fuck around and, and I usually just buy the prefab skirts, but I buy specifically the ones that I want so I can just recreate them as I need. Or I can have the same skirt on multiple different jigs. I can have an Arky or a football or something if I want to change it up. But I picked up like some living rubber. I picked up some really, really nice stuff to make some really cool patterns, and I just haven't done it yet. So I think this winter I'm going to force myself to sit down and have that. And like an idiot, I put everything in a dry bag and I put it in the boat. Like, because my thought was like, oh, I'll just make these up on the boat as I need them. And I'm like, you're an idiot. Do them. I got to take that out and then move it in here and get everything all set. But yeah, there's a lot, dude, show wise that I want to do. And I think this is the year where I start to dip my toe into speaking more with guides and coming up with some plans to do some trips and shit. Like we had an opportunity that we stumbled on that just it wasn't realistic for us to be able to handle last year, but I'm hoping to be able to start to ramp up to that. Yeah, pretty good shit. Do we have a headline this week, Joe?
We do.
We do have a headline this week. I need to get the headline open. That is needed. And we'll go ahead and we'll do that.
All right. So low water levels lead to big fish for a New York angler, Bobby. A long time without rain has shrunk Delta Lake near the town of Rome to a fraction of its usual 2,400 acres. The lake is a reservoir feeding the famed Erie Canal, a place Paul Core has dedicated years to living to fish.
Familiar.
I fish Delta Lake and the canal all the time, dozens of times a month. The 39-year-old self-employed angler tells Wired to Fish, there's great fishing in both places, but recently Delta Lake has been on fire because a drought has reduced the lake size. Core says fish are concentrated in the remaining regions of the lake, and he's been catching lots of oversized northern pike in shallow upper portions of Lake Delta. I caught 18 pike in one recent September day. Fish up to about 10 pounds, he explained. I release all and I catch, I release all I catch, especially big pike. Core says he fished 8 days from September 2nd to the 22nd. And from his small 16-foot bass tracker boat, he tallied 32 pike ranging from 26 to 39 inches. Those are fish weighing about 4 to 15 pounds, according to well-accepted length girth charts. I also lost a really big pike that broke my leader or cut me off, he says. I've had fish that I lost, I believe, were 42 inches, and some other anglers recently have caught pike measuring up to 44.
Jesus.
Core uses 7-foot spinning rods with 15-pound test braided line and 15-pound fluoro leaders. He's a dedicated jerkbait fisherman. His favorite plugs are a 6-inch Megabass Canada and a 4 3/4 inch KVD Elite Series jerkbait. I catch plenty of other species with those plugs too. I've caught nice walleye, smallmouth, pickerel, and even jumbo perch. I release them all because they're so much more valuable in Delta Lake than on a dinner plate. Core is concerned about how low the Delta Lake has gotten resulting from the regional drought. He says the dammed reservoir is down 10 feet in some places, and the upper weedy area regions where he fishes are only several feet deep. I fish almost always with just my electric motor running, and I'm very careful with it because the lake is so shallow. A kayak may be better to get to some of the good fishing areas, but it's a little iffy landing big toothy pike from a low to the water kayak.
Facts.
Tell that to ND Yak Angler. Lake Delta is lower than Core has ever seen, but he thinks the lake dropping and drying out may be good for the reservoir as it rejuvenates the bottom and vegetation growth. So this dude's been like smashing giant pike, and there's some photos here, but that just goes to show we're not the only ones in a drought. But I wish I was able to catch bigger fish because of the droughts, because I sure as shit was not able to do that.
Sometimes that works in your favor like that, though. You know, occasionally.
Yeah, of course. They only have so many places to go, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You reduce the real estate that they've got to play with, and you increase your odds. It's all a numbers game, man. It's fucking crazy.
That's it.
Man, that's nuts. And it's funny because like that area, that section of New York, I mean, I'm not familiar with Delta Lake per se, but the Erie Canal, I fished the shit out of the Erie Canal last fall.
Yep.
And it was great. It was better than Cayuga. You know, it is what it is. I need to take advantage more of upstate New York. I really think I need to.
Yeah, you do.
I do. I mean, and not just St. Lawrence. Just, I mean, I've got the license. It's good until next fall.
Oh, there's a ton of places to fish up there,
shitload,
dude.
and I am not far. I am not far from the New York border at all.
No.
So I don't know. Maybe I should look into some camping options there for the winter as well. You know. Let's see what we got. Bogley chimes in right here. He says, I'm about to get off. I'm headed your way with cameras. Bobby, we got 35 rooms for the show, and I'm donating that Douglas swim bait rod. Oh, dude, you don't have to do that, but I appreciate it. He's headed your way, Joe, with cameras. As in the rooms that he's talking about. So the butcher is he's a guy who's in the hotel business. You know what I mean? He's running the show every which way, and was gracious enough to say, hey, next time you're doing an event, get in touch with me so that we can offer folks that are traveling a spot where everybody's able to kind of crash in one spot. So think of this, it'll be like the Jigs and Bigs like party pad, like that kind of thing. So information coming with that. Bogley, we will talk. Todd, I agree. TMI. But hey, you know, we're close like that, I guess. I'll have information regarding those rooms if you need lodging and everything. Well, again, this is why I needed all the info for everybody so I could reach out with details. Ticket holders, hey, just so you know, if you need a spot, blah, 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 blah. Boom, set that shit up. It'll be awesome. Bogley says, don't get me fired. No, you know, the Jigs and Bigs, we are the best kind of degenerates. You know what I mean? We really are. Like, we're definitely the type that's going to pull some, like, Lockwood type content. But at the same time, we're going to clean up our mess before we go.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're those kinds of folks. Let's go ahead and we'll take a short break, guys. We've got some stuff to talk about in our next segment that really blows, and you know what I'm talking about. We will see you guys with more Jigs and Bigs right after this.
And perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip. Just for a second, just to see how it feels. Or ouch, ouch, you're on my hair.
Okay.
You know, Joe, you know what really blows?
The wind?
The wind. It really, really blows. And are you familiar with this old little fisherman's proverb? Wind from the east, fish bite the least.
Yep.
Wind from the west, fish bite the best.
Fish bite the best.
Wind from the north, few sailors set forth. Wind from the south blows baits in their mouth. And, you know, that's cute and everything, but it's actually pretty accurate. Like it really is. You can take that information and feel good about it. That if you have a wind that's blowing from the south or the west, you're gonna have a better experience or less of a challenge than if you have a wind coming in from the east. And I word it that way because you can find challenges anywhere. That's not a guarantee. Nobody's saying like, oh, but the wind was blowing from the west. How come I didn't get my PB? You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. It's just, you know, it's like, hey, they're probably going to be a little bit more active and it will work more in your favor if the wind is coming from this direction. Now, I don't necessarily know the reasons why that, but I did, after my experience on the water yesterday, take a deep dive and put together a little bit of a report with some information that I had dug up regarding tackling wind and bringing home the dub in windy conditions. And also, we're going to answer the question, can too much wind be a bad thing? Can it? Wind can certainly be a friend or a fierce opponent for anglers, especially when you're chasing bass in, U.S. lakes and rivers. Handle it correctly, and windy conditions can definitely fire up the bite. Handled the wrong way, and they can shut down both your fishing and your day overall, and can be a safety concern too. Here's how to make the most of the blustery conditions. Now, here's a couple of reasons why wind can certainly be a very, very good thing. Wind breaks up sunlight penetration, and it creates surface disturbance. And what that does, it makes your bait fish feel safer, so they're going to move a little bit more shallow. It pushes plankton, which the bait fish will follow, and in turn the bass will follow. And then it masks your presence as well, giving you a little bit more of a stealth advantage that you wouldn't have on a calm day. A breezy day often turns a slow bite into more of a smash fest, if you will. Now, wind directions and what it means for the bite. Well, wind rarely blows like in a straight line necessarily, but here's kind of a guide. When wind is blowing into a bank, what it's bringing or what it's doing is it's concentrating your bait, and it activates those bass. Places to focus, windblown points are going to be great. Riprap, grass edges, stuff like that. So like when I mentioned in the last segment how there was a main section of the lake where there was a drop off and there was a weed edge that went right up there, the wind was blowing right into this. Like it had... In my eyes, it seemed almost perfect. Now on a crosswind, that's where you're gonna engage with more difficult boat control. Your bait's gonna scatter a little bit more. Your transition areas are probably going to be places to focus, secondary points too. If your wind is blowing off of the bank, that will pull food away from structure. So on those banks, you're going to want to fish a bit deeper or find the protected coves. Typically, like the general rule of thumb, the main takeaway, follow the wind in order to locate the fish. The best tactics for windy conditions, when the wind kicks up, you can definitely switch to your more aggressive search tools. So baits that are going to cut through wind and cover water well. Spinner baits and dual blades specifically are going to shine quite a bit in the chop. Bladed jigs, crankbaits. If you're fishing around shallow cover, this is a great spot to throw that square bill. And swim baits on weighted hooks or jig heads. And if if it's not too windy, like a topwater walking bait can work great. As far as your positioning for your watercraft, boats and kayaks, approach wind-blown banks from downwind to avoid blowing over fish. Use anchors or spot lock when you're holding to depth or a specific structure. And also, don't be afraid to use the wind. Set yourself up and then drift strategically instead of fighting it and wasting your resources, trying to focus on that one spot. Get to one spot, let that wind kind of blow you over it, and then circle back around and come back over it for another pass. As far as casting strategies go, cast with the wind whenever possible. You can definitely use heavier lures or more inline aerodynamic profiles to help kind of cut through and get those casts to move and not catch so much wind and slow down. And then, be aware of your line. Braid is very well known to be great for casting in wind, but heavier fluorocarbon is going to help you too. And it also avoids bowing the line. Now, when does wind become an issue? And there is a sweet spot, but too much wind can, number one, make boat control nearly impossible, especially depending on the vessel or how you're rigged up. It can definitely create unsafe waves, especially on open water lakes, and it can ruin lure presentation and sensitivity, as well as increasing fatigue and risk of capsizing for kayak anglers. You're fighting that wind, whether you're pedaling or you're paddling, or, honestly, even if you're motoring and you're just maintaining your balance, like it can burn you out, and that can become a problem. Here's a breakdown of some limits as far as like just rough ideas of wind speeds and various situations. So anything up to about 10 miles an hour is typically going to be fairly comfortable for anybody and very productive. Like that is great, up to about 10 miles an hour. You go from like that 10 mile an hour to like 18 or 20 miles an hour, and then your bite windows are going to be fantastic, but you want to start paying attention to boat control there. That's where you might wrestle with things a little bit. You get from like 18, 20 to up to about 25 miles per hour. This is where things are going to start to get situational. Look for protected water here, and this is where, boat control is certainly going to be hindered. And then anything over 25 miles an hour, it's definitely not worth it. Safety first. And I mean, I think when we say that, what we're talking about here is 25 miles an hour, like sustained winds. This is generally what we're talking about. You're always going to see gusts that will be much higher. But like if your sustained winds are 25 miles an hour or more, you're not going to be effective on the water. And it's just one of those things where for most of us, it's just not going to be worth it. Some wind safety tips that we should pass along, because the biggest trophy of all is making it home. Wear your PFD at all times, especially if you're in a kayak. Check the forecast and the gusts before you hit the water. Like while you're at the ramp, make that a checklist item. Secure any loose gear. Wind loves to steal rods, nets, paddles, you name it. And then have a plan B. Come up with an idea, a protective cove, a canal, specific shorelines that will allow you to kind of duck out of the wind and get a little bit of protection from it should it get a little crazy. Also, make shorter runs. Stay closer to the launch in winds that are getting increasingly sort of challenging. And then keep bilge pumps and radios checked and ready, because these are the conditions that you're going to need them in. Final thought is that wind isn't really the enemy. Hesitation is. If you learn to read it, ride it, and respect it, windy days can become your best fishing days. Pick the right spots, choose bold presentations, and make safety your first priority. Bass love wind. Anglers should too. Just be smart about it. So what's your experience been with windy conditions, Joe?
I fucking hate fishing in the wind, dude, but we also come from a place where we get wind often.
You're not wrong.
It's crazy because like I personally am not a big fan of in fishing in any wind like over like 15 miles an hour, which we get very often. However, it's been pretty fruitful for me, especially when you talk about those windblown banks and coves and stuff like that. You actually, instead of getting frustrated about being in the wind and your line blowing everywhere, whatnot, like use it to, like Bobby said, use it to your advantage. There's so many techniques, and if you get into this scientific prowess of the actual like wind and fishing, it can be extremely fruitful for you and beneficial. It's not my favorite. Like we were talking about before the show, I'm like, oh sweet, it's like pretty low winds today, so but it's it's supposed to be like 8 miles an hour. Like in my mind, that's perfect. Get a little bit of chop, a little bit of whatever, and yeah.
You don't need like rollers to make it productive.
No,
you know what I mean?
Not at all. And it's that slick calm in the middle of the day that tends to kind of get it
slows
people
down.
think it tends to kind of keep them not bitey. Mm-hmm. So
I totally agree. And that's the thing. Like, and I wanted to bring this up because I really felt bad for Adam being in the boat with me, because I was melting down as a human being. Like my brain was like, what the actual, I don't know if he really understood it when I said it, but there was a point where I was just like, none of this shit makes sense. And I do think, and I do know that part of the things, and I probably should have mentioned this, is one of the other things is that too much wind can actually make the bait not collect, but scatter, and the problem is when that happens, like, or really anytime any kind of weather can get extreme, it can make fish kind of panic a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's just getting a little bit dicey or whatever. It's one of these things where I think that you got to keep in mind that these are not a sure thing. And what was driving me crazy was that we started out kind of sheltered, and I was looking for some specific structure where I knew I had found fish recently, and I was like, if I'm going to find them, they're going to be here, you know? So we started over there. We didn't find any fish. We got out further, and I started where, again, these were like where the wind was pushing bait into. I was like, so we're going to suck it up. We're going to go, and we're just going to let this beat the shit out of us, and hopefully it's worth it. And it was not worth it. That was the biggest issue. It just wasn't worth it.
Yeah. And you know, one last thing on the wind, be it, you know, just being cognizant of the fact that it could really, what's the word I'm looking for? It could really put you in a situation where the techniques you are about to use or want to use are going to be, you know, kind of not as broad as you would think. So like, you know, for instance, like drop shotting gets a little bit more difficult in the wind because, you know, it's a little tougher to keep your line kind of, you know, taut to see, you know, having your weight against the bottom, but you know, your bait up above it. You know, Damiki, any of those light baits, Damiki rigging, even like a light swim bait or something, the wind will affect your cast. So just be aware of that as well, you know, especially when you get those stronger, the sustained winds over like the 10, 12 miles per hour. That's where you might have to adjust the techniques you're planning to do that day just because of, you know, castability and kind of being able to work the bait the correct way.
It's funny that you mention like drop shots specifically, because there was one point where I was on this wall of weeds, right? Like just where the drop off started. And I had marked fish that were like outside from it. And I had thrown a drop shot with a 1/4 ounce weight. Normally this spot would be fine. That would be enough weight, no problem. And I think I was in about probably about 20 feet of water. And I'm like, okay, so we'll go ahead. We'll throw this. We'll just kind of drag it outside of this batch of weeds and see what we can come up with. And dude, it was a problem. That weight was not heavy enough. And I'm glad I had those 1/2 ounce weights that I had picked up. And in all actuality, those at St. Lawrence were even too light. You know, but I was like, I'm kind of glad I have a handful of these where I can throw them if I need to, because I was able to put my bait in a spot, leave it. And oftentimes that wind, like if you're throwing something like a drop shot, that wind blowing on that line is going to give that bait enough action. You just got to let it sit.
Yep.
You know, it's sometimes that's what it's all about. But Todd chimes in and he goes, on windy days, I'll pick a spot where the wind blows me upriver and it makes the paddle back easier. That is awesome. He says, I hate fishing lakes on real windy days. Yeah.
Like the place I'm about to go right now, in the spot that I'm going to go to first, is like the funnel for the wind on that body of water.
Yeah.
But I know, like, chances are that's where all the fish are going to be today. So, you know, you got to kind of, you know, cool. It's so there's an old saying back in the day, or it was an old story of you know, of a little boy who lost his dollar and on the street, and you know, he's looking for it under the street light, and someone asked him like, okay, well, where exactly did you lose your dollar? And well, it's over there in the dark. Well, why are you looking for it here? Well, because this is where the light is. So, you know, the same aspect is just because it's calm over there doesn't mean it's going to be easier to fish. But if you know the fish aren't going to be there, then what's the point of going there?
That's exactly it. Yeah. No, it makes sense, man. And you know, it's just one of those things. I think ultimately the big thing is like safety becomes an issue. And that's part of what, like, also why I was like fucking freaking out, because I'm like, I don't want anything to fucking happen on here. And you know what was weird about that day, about yesterday on the water? As like I said, they pulled the docks from this launch. Like, as we got off the water, we just pulled the boat out. And we're grabbing some stuff out of the boat and putting some things away. And I look over at Adam. I was like, take a look out there. And he looks, and we could see whitecaps and shit. Dude, there is a pontoon hauling ass across this river. And I'm like,
what are you thinking, bro?
And then as we're having this conversation, not one, but 2 trucks with fucking bayliners pull down. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, how do you even board that boat without any docks? And what's funny is on the sides of this ramp, there's these like little concrete partial walls where the docks connect to. It's part of the bank, and they stick out a little ways. They tied off to those. I hope they had a fucking boat bumper up there or something like that, because otherwise it's like, you know. Yeah. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me, dude. This is wild. I don't know. I just don't even know what some people are thinking. You know, I just don't even know. So yeah, wind blows. It happens. But how you deal with it is going to ultimately be the deciding factor in what kind of success you're going to have. And don't be afraid. Eli chimed in a little bit earlier. He goes, "Yeah, I had to quickly learn boat position on the yak, and did not realize how hard that would be." Eli, refresh my memory. You have a shoalie, don't you? I think he's got a Crescent shoalie. A lot of those like river-oriented boats will move and turn around with the winds even faster than some other hull shapes, if I'm not mistaken. Dude, wind with a kayak is a challenge. It just is, you know, and it can be with a big boat too. You get a small boat and it can be a challenge too. You get on a John boat or a boat my size, it can be a challenge for sure. But I think let's go ahead. We'll wrap this sucker right here, and then we'll come back for our next segment. We got 2 questions in the live well today. One from you know who, but we have another one too involved that's very seasonally oriented. And I did a little bit of research for this one just for you. We'll see you guys. Don't go too far. More coming up right after this.
Hi there. Welcome to the Live Well, where we crack open a ramp beer and attempt to answer all of your burning questions.
There is definitely some burning. Definitely some burning going on, but
I hope my questions spark some debate. I love debating. Eli. Let's do it. I'm excited.
I think it could go either way. I forget what his question was, but we'll go ahead. We'll fucking get into it. So yeah, this week in the live, we have 2 calls that came in. What is the first one I have lined up right here? The first one came in. This is actually the first call that came in this week. This is from our tournament director, Binya Outdoors. Let's see what Binya has to say.
Hey guys, it's Binya. I have a question for the live well, actually. So getting to the end of the year, temperatures are starting to drop, and I'm trying to figure out ways to stay warm in the kayak. And I'm wondering what you guys think about the battery-powered, like, heated base layer, like, long john stuff. I've been looking at this stuff, and I've seen some mixed reviews. Just kind of curious if you guys have tried them, or what your thoughts are on using, you know, battery pack heated to get that extra warmth, but not having to layer up so heavy in the kayak.
I got a tiny bit of experience with this.
You do with the powered stuff. I was curious if you did or not.
So not for base layers like that. So I have a lot of friends that ski and snowboard. Okay. And some of them, like I have a buddy who has a vest. That's I couldn't tell you the company or anything like that. And I was kind of like, oh, dude, that's dumb. You know what I mean? And he's like, try it, put it on. And I was like, I will be honest. I was kind of like, holy shit. And like, I'll be completely honest. Until Binya said this, I didn't realize that there's base layers that were heated. So putting that one, that kind of like intermediate layer on and feeling it, I was actually like pleasantly surprised, and in my mind was like, this being directly on your skin will definitely keep you warm.
So being cold is something that, like, especially being allergic to cold, right? Yeah. This is something I think about a lot. And I think that anything powered, you know, whether it's like, I mean, like Zippo makes these like hand warmers, pocket warmers, where you take them, put them in your pockets, and it's basically just like a small butane torch that's running inside the housed heater, and it basically just runs on its own. And it's they're very cool when I camp. These bottles, these Nalgene bottles, if it gets really cold, I'll boil water, put them in these bottles, then put them in my sleeping bag to preheat my sleeping bag. I've got an electric blanket that I can plug into 12 volt, which actually I could probably run off my Jackery for quite a bit longer than I could on running it on my car for the 45 minutes it'll let it run. But I've done that to preheat it to get it warmed up. And then your body heat's able to kind of keep it maintaining. So I think these could actually work really well. My issue would be like, if you rely on them and you're like, oh, I'm nice and warm, then at like 2-3 hours in, that battery dies on you and you're like, now I'm fucking freezing because you don't have the layers on to like maintain that. So what I would suggest, Binya, for those, like, I almost look at it as like, I would look into like either those base layers or, like Joe said, like a mid layer might even be the better move, and look into your layering. Like, you don't actually need big, bulky layers to stay warm because it's not the bulk, it's the air that's trapped in there. So you'd be better off. Like, I'm wearing a base layer shirt, synthetic. And I would recommend synthetic for what you're doing for sure. So like put on like a thin base layer. And if it's one of those powered ones, awesome. Go for it. Like that'll for sure help you out. Do something like that. And then put like a mid layer. So like a hoodie, right? Something like that. And then your next layer should be all on blocking the wind. I think that if you do those layers right there, you'll still keep enough dexterity, and you'll be good. But like, again, like if you were doing one of those that was like a powered heated layer, something like that, that's not a terrible thing to look into. Even in kayak fishing, you're sitting a lot. Get a seat warmer. A 12 volt seat warmer to run off of like some type of a battery unit behind you or something like that. So that this way it's like it provides you a little something to kind of help you like have a source of warmth while you're out there. And I totally understand it. Now, I did take this to another direction, and I went because I wanted to know some information. I wanted to also recommend something that's been talked about on Jigs and Bigs, not by myself, not by Joe, but by Sean the Fisherman. And that's a neoprene wetsuit. Okay. Now, a neoprene wetsuit is highly insulating. If you were to put something like that on and then put on like a set of bibs on top of that, you would be good to go. On top of that, you'd also be helping yourself. And the reason why I bring this up is because the neoprene wetsuit is a very affordable way to do it. You're looking at about like, I think like $50 to $60 per piece, because you can do it not as one individual piece, but you can do it as a shirt and pants. And not only is that going to be beneficial in a kayak, but neoprene floats. Like, it's going to add to your buoyancy. So it's not the worst idea. It's something to consider. Like, it's the name of the game, I think, regardless, is layering. So think base layer, think mid layer, and then think outer layer for blocking the wind. Because that's the thing. The wind is going to just take it all out of you. Mm-hmm. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of piggybacking on what Bobby's saying to actually answer the question for you, Binya. I think there's better ways than to, I just looked at them real quick. They're fucking expensive, and I looked at a few different brands, and the reviews are so like hit or miss.
There's one of them over here. I think it said Oreo. Todd says, I think it's the same. It's the name of the heated vest that I have. And he says, the thing is nice, but I don't take it fishing.
Yeah. Especially being a base layer, like quickly looking at it, like you have to kind of disassemble it to wash it. And you're going to want to, it's a base layer. It's right against your skin, so you're going to want to wash it more often than something else,
like a mid layer for sure.
Yeah.
Eli says fabric headbands everyone used as COVID masks is great to cover your face and keeps them warm. And then heated cushion. Todd says, you remember back in the day. I remember my dad used to have one of these, and I think he used to have it for, like, people would use these for, like, if they went to, like, a football game or something. But I think my dad used to use this in his tree stand when he was out hunting. And it was like a a round pillow, like a cushion for a seat.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. And
my dad used to use them too.
Yeah. And it was full of like styrofoam pellets, right?
Yeah.
And
some kind of pellets. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, you can put this down, then sit on it. It'll keep you warm. And I was like, I thought in my mind, I was like, oh, you're just going to burn your ass. Holy shit. There's nothing like that. But what it is you're not sitting on something that's cold, that's sucking the heat right out of you.
Right.
So, yeah, I would say, I mean, Binya, some of those ideas, it's not a terrible idea. Like, and I could see like one of those vests or something. And I'm curious, like how Todd mentioned, he's like, I don't take it fishing. But like, if you were to get something that had like a powered element to it, like, and you're out there on the water and you're like, okay, I'm fishing, it's cool, everything's good, but I am starting to get like, maybe you start out and you're fine, but an hour later, you're just like hurting.
Yeah.
Kick that on to give yourself a little bit of a boost up and then shut it off, and figure out like, is it the right move? I don't know. I mean, I think it's anything, but I think that if you look at your layers, I think that's the most important thing. And then, when you're in a kayak, obviously you want to, I think the ultimate way is a dry suit. Let's just be honest. Are they expensive? Yes, 100% they are, but they're also super effective. The neoprene wetsuit is another great idea, but some people just have a real big aversion to those. They're just like, I don't know. And I think that I want to say that when Sean and I were talking about it, he was like, he's like, anything that you do that's going to layer you up is going to impede your dexterity. A little bit, like when you're putting these layers on. But he goes, there's a big difference between putting on like smaller, thin layers and having multiple ones that move a little bit more versus like having like a big puffy coat, something like that. So yeah, something to keep in mind. All right. Now I'm curious because I haven't listened to Eli's question yet. I'm curious what this is.
Hey, this is Eli for the question for the live well. I heard somebody talk about this the other day and thought this was an interesting question, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. But do you think the fishing industry would be happier and healthier if the big-time tournaments took a few years off? Do you think the drama would subside with forward-facing sonar and all that stuff? Do you think that would help the industry or hurt the industry if the big time tournaments took a couple years off and everybody just fished for fun and just for the enjoyment of the sport again? Yep. Want to hear your thoughts. Bye.
I have a strong opinion about this.
Let's hear yours first, because I do too.
Most people fish for fun. Most people do. It's already like that. So I think that it wouldn't change anything because I don't think that the drama is a tournament problem. I think that the drama is a
human problem.
I think that's the thing. It's not going to change anything. People are still going to be talking about technology. They're still going to be talking about, how this thing is working. It's when people bring this stuff up in like the tournament world, there's blinders on there. Because they're looking at it through the aspect of a tournament angler or a fan of somebody who's got that level of interest in tournament angling where they're following it as a spectator. But that, I mean, I'm not saying that's not a large group of people, but it ain't everybody. In fact, it's the smallest share, I think, of the people that are out there.
I agree.
So I think that like the drama and everything and the industry is going to be exactly the same, regardless if they took a few years off or not. I also don't think you would ever convince any of them to take a few years off because there are multiple streams of competition. Mm-hmm. And that's just going to be perceived as absolute loss for, for whoever goes first.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, dude, you kind of took the words out of my mouth, to be honest. I look at it pretty much the same exact way, dude. It's like 80% of bass fishermen fish for fun and could give two shits what's happening in bass or MLF.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why, dude, if bass fishermen who fish for fun gave two shits about bass and MLF, they would be in a much better place.
Oh my God.
They would have much
they
more
would be
revenue.
on
they would have,
major
you know what
network
I mean?
television.
So,
yeah.
Yep. It would be on ESPN versus fucking whatever they find for this week.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think they have as much influence as people think. Content creators, fishing content creators right now have far more influence in the bass fishing community than professional bass anglers.
In fact, it's funny because Eli even chimes in. He's like, Uncle Randy would find something else to bitch about. 100%. Absolutely. Yep. Like I love, I'm going to say something. It's going to fucking piss people off, but I'm going to say this because I'm getting closer to this demographic. Have you ever looked at old people?
Of course.
And like, you hear the way they fucking talk about anything. You know what I mean? It's the reason why it's that way, where they'll find something to bitch about and they've got their opinion and that's all that matters. It's because they've been doing it their whole life. It's just the human experience. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, people will find something to complain about. And, you know, it's weird. And perception is a big part of it, I think, too. You know, if your perception of fishing is the elite level tournament angler, and that's your only perception of fishing, you know, I mean, your main perception of fishing, there's a lot of stuff that you're not going to be necessarily in the wheelhouse to pick up for information. Like, I am blown away when I talk to folks that are primarily focused for fish for other species or fish saltwater. Like, there are topics that they will bring up that I cannot relate to necessarily at all. I try. Catfish anglers, you know, like when you talk to folks that are like that walleye fish, it's so weird because I feel like bass anglers, oftentimes we like kind of inflate our own egos a little bit. Like, we're the only ones that fucking matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course.
And like, when I'll never forget this. There was a time where I asked people about catch and release versus catch and keep. And this was, again, just to like take the temperature of the room back when I did this. And I got an answer from somebody that was the most ignorant shit I've ever heard. And it was, I think that largemouth bass is the American eagle underwater. I'm like, what? The bald eagle. I'm like, what? And like, it needs to be cherished the same way. I feel, and they said something to the effect of like, I think that harvesting that fish should be a criminal offense. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Oh my God. But yeah.
Eli says, play devil's advocate just for the hell of it.
Okay.
So this isn't so much a devil's advocate, but more of a hot take.
Yep.
You know, I said what I said. If they took away professional fishing, nothing, I don't think anything will really change. But I'm going to tell you right now, if tomorrow YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram went away, the bass fishing community would the bass fishing community and the market would absolutely tank.
I think you're probably right. I think
so. That kind of, you know, I was just an ICAST, and I talked to several people, and these big companies, especially these conglomerates, are starting to give two shits about professional fishermen, and they're making far more money off of the content creator. We've talked about this several times on the show, so we don't have to get into it, but yeah. So, dude, and on all honestly, MLF bass went away tomorrow for 2, 3, 10 years. It wouldn't affect the industry whatsoever.
I definitely agree with that, and I think that they benefit, like the industry benefits significantly more when it comes to fishing content. You know, because
I think there might be one market, only one, that might see a little bit of a hit.
Boats. Yeah, I could definitely see that. It's one of those things where like it's hard to be a content creator and not unless you're working for a boat manufacturer and you're like, hey, we're on such and such model today with this outboard over here. You know, that might be a little bit different, but like it's very hard for a content creator to make even if they're changing out their boat every year, that's a year of content that they're making on that one model versus. Take a look, and I'll use this example. Kayaks, look at aggressively average anglers, right? Those dudes are like, they're in the kayak fishing industry. Like they were just, well, I forget what boat was it. They put out, there's a new like skiff kayak like hybrid. Like it's in the skiff setting. There's like an actual transom mount that's on the back. You could put a 6 horsepower outboard on the back of this.
Right.
It's crazy. And part of what they're doing, like they are in the industry. Like they are in it. Fuck. Dave Urquhart, Wolf of Walmart,
Sure.
the stuff he's doing with FluxJet, you know, like there is some amazing shit going on there. But with the kayak world, the barrier of like, I guess it's weird. Like, I feel like the flippability of like, we're going to get this boat, we're going to rig it, we're going to do this, we're going to show it. You could do that in a series of months versus like when you've got a boat and you're like, just the amount of money it would take to be able to go ahead and do that, you know, is crazy. It's crazy.
Yep.
What do we got here? What's Eli chime in with? He says, the fact that Pro Series guys are being left behind if they don't get on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. I mean, that's just, I mean, honestly, I don't think that's like a shock. I think that's just like technology and the way that it works. It's almost like saying, oh, what are these newspaper journalists going to do now that fucking television news has become a thing? You know, it's like, it's just the industry itself is going to change. You know, and technology plays a massive role in there. And, you know, who was I listening to? It was a podcast I was listening to. And there was one of these anglers who was a tournament guy. And he was like, yeah, on my off time, like, you know, I'll go like, or I'll take a few days during a week and go out and make a bunch of content in like an 8-hour window, you know, for whatever brands, you know, some of my sponsors or something. And it's, you know, and they're like, that's a work day for me. That's a real work day, you know? Like, yeah, I'm going out fishing, but I'm having to create like a product, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the whole thing. It is. It's a wild concept. It's a wild idea to think like, oh yeah, if you know, tournament fishing just as a whole just was like hit the pause button for 3 years. I don't think in the grand scheme of things much would really happen.
Right.
You know, it's wild.
Agreed.
All right, Joe, you got to go fishing. You got to make this. You got to go and catch them. I have a handful of things I need to get done around the house, and it should be kind of wild. I hope you guys are ready for an amazing event this January. Tickets are available at jigsandbigs.com. Go ahead, get your tickets. Whether you're coming out for the live show in Springfield to be part of it all and possibly win some really cool door prizes on top of the giveaways, or you're just going to join us virtually from the confines of YouTube right here. But you want an opportunity to win some really amazing stuff from some really great brands, get your tickets as well. It's a $25 ticket, guys. Go ahead, get yourselves all hooked up and ready to go, and we will have an amazing show for you. That's coming up on January the 24th. Jigsandbigs.com for all of the information. You don't want to miss it. On top of that, do yourselves a solid. Go and follow American Vet Fishing on YouTube. Definitely go and follow Jigs and Bigs on YouTube. We've got content coming out that hopefully you guys enjoy, and all kinds of great stuff down the road. Like 2026 is going to be an amazing year. This is the year that we straddle North America at the end of January, and we're going to have some presence at the New England Fishing Expo and some presence at the Columbus Fishing Expo. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Go ahead and catch some fish. If you're catching them, tag us in your photos. We want to support you guys as much as we can. And oh yeah, we got some stuff to figure out with the fucking certified studs. That shit's got to fucking happen.
I know.
It might end up happening at the live show. It very well at this point, it wouldn't be the worst idea to say, hey, guess what we're finally going to do? But that might be a possibility. We will figure it out though, and it's all going to be fantastic. Tag us in your pictures so that we can live vicariously through you, because if the bite sucks here, we want to at least feel like we're cheering on our fishy fam. Give us a follow on all the socials. We will see you guys with more Jigs and Bigs goodness in 7 days. Do not go too far, and like we always say,
Tits and ass, smoke some grass.